Howdy again, homies. James here with Rewind Electric, and I've got another piece of mail to open today before we close up. Side box. Yeah, alright. It's kind of big to fit under the camera, so I'm going to kind of be over here in the corner for a second. Don't worry, it'll go quick. Did you catch the last video with the DoD Overdrive preamp 250 with a little bit of a comparison to the Zoom box at the end, right? Zoom box is pretty cool. Okay, speaking of pretty cool, we got something here. We got something special. We've got something here, and you can bet it's a vintage pedal. That's right. That is one you don't see too often, isn't it? The Electro-Harmonix Badge Stone. So, this is the full-size version of the small stone. The small stone is what everyone knows. I did a video with a version 1 and another with a version 2 earlier on here. I think I might have done an additional version 2 at some point. This is the big guy. Not the same circuit inside with just next knob. I believe this actually has some additional stages of phasing. There's a little adapter that you would use to power it up with. Its, are they 9 volts AC? I think that's what it is. It says AC. Auto manual switch. Well, I don't think I have to tell you guys the rule here. You got to open it up before you can hear it. Before we open it up, we should have plastic D-shaft pots. And we do. Okay. Oh, that one's blue. That's the special one. Okay. I'm going to take this off because I won't be using that now, but I'll save it because it'll probably come in handy at a later date. Okay. Let's, nothing feels funny about the knobs. Switch feels good. There is no battery door in this, which is an indicator of an earlier one. Now this is a version 2. I would have liked a version 1. I may still get a version 1 for the Vintage Classic Phasers Shootout. Classic Vintage? Yeah, that's what it is. Classic Vintage Phasers Shootout. Which is growing. So in that, let's see if I can remember off the top of my head. We've got a Phase 90. We've got a PH1. We've got a version 1 and a version 2 small stone. We now have a bad stone. We've got the Maestro phase shifter. Oh man, is that a monster. We've got potentially a Phase 45 on the way. Still sorting that out. We've got a Maxon phaser. We've got a Roland AP2, the big brown tombstone phaser. Let's see. I feel like there's more. Did not get the large format DoD phaser, if they have one. I don't know. They have a chorus and a flanger and a delay. I have the flanger and the delay. I don't know if we have the chorus. All right, let me fire this up. Actually, I know I don't have the chorus. I was trying to get one, and it's not worked out so far. That's a cool battery clip. Look at that. That is special. See that? It's minimal. Very cool. Okay, now you might look at this and go, oh, that's modded. I look at that and go, yeah, that's EHX. Same with the wire wrapped around the switch terminal here. That does not doesn't surprise me at all. It's kind of a weird move, but just kind of leave it there. Let's check this battery. We want DC volts, because if you ever got a 9-volt battery putting out AC volts, boy, you'd have a weird day. Yeah, 8.7. Trash can. All right. Let's get a freshie. Now, let's see here. These jacks could use a little bit of cleaning. Burnishing tool, not abrasive paper. That's what you want to use. It's not going to focus though. I have actually a specific jack cleaning tool. If I could get my hands on it, I don't quite know where it is at the moment. Let's see. Actually, I have a box of them, and heck if I know where any of them are. All right, well, we're not going to do it that way today. So, let's use one of these. Now, I got to get my D5. Hold on. There it is. Okay. All right. D5, F5. F is for fader. D is for duh. It's not for faders because it doesn't have an F. Okay. And we're just going to do it this way, which is fine. This way is better. There we go. Jonard.com if you want the burnishing tools. It's just a little bit, it's gentler than abrasive paper. It's made for doing exactly this. In fact, if one of these jacks has a contact switch on it, which these don't, it would be perfect for that as well. Slip it right between the leaves of a contact, say on like a Fender amplifier input. Okay. Hey, Cliff built this one. Sweet. Thanks, Cliff. I appreciate your help building me a nice pedal. All right, so we've got our D5ing done. Let's see if we can gather a date on these pots. I see 1377, and is it a 9? Probably. Let's see. Share with you guys. I'm not gonna. Let me see that there. 137 is CTS, and then 7. What's next? What is that? I think that's a 9, but I'll have to review the video because I can't actually get it that close and see it on the screen at the same time. Oh, give a little D5 on that switch too. Right, now a D5. A little from the other side. I better hit these pots too, just as a preventive. I'm not a like huge proponent of preventive pot maintenance like that, but in this case, I think I'm gonna be. Man, let's take it all the way apart. Let's take it all the way apart. Let's go all the way apart. I've never heard one of these. The version 1 was weird. If you've ever seen it, it's got more of like the minimal design. It doesn't have the 70s disco fat letters or the big black bar here. But it's got like what people call a mummy head or a mummy face. I think it's supposed to be like a rock person because it's a stone. I think it's supposed to be a guy made out of stone. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. That's what I always thought it was until I heard that people referred to it as the mummy head or mummy face. I forget what they call it. It does look like a mummy though. Once you have that in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, mummy face. Sure. Now, because this is an old Electro-Harmonix pedal, I'm very likely to break it taking it apart. These things are kind of junky, to be honest, in the build quality department. Usually they sound pretty nice, though. I really don't want to take that switch off to get this out. Do I have to? It's so close. I think we can do it. Okay. It's pulling. What is it caught on? Is it just that? Something else. Oh gosh, okay, we gotta take the switch off. Okay, if you watch the Gaiatone, the DoD 250 video, this is probably the type of jack that should have been, right here. That should have been there on this one. Maybe I'll put it back. Man, that is grimy. I should burnish that. Oh, this does have a switch. Look at that. You can see what I'm talking about. Okay. See that contact right there? That's where that burnishing tool comes in. Perfectly handy. Except it's too small in this case, I think, to get that in there easily. I'll come back to that. Let's do one thing at a time. Or at least let's limit it to like 3 things at a time and not do 4. Okay. All right. That's nicer. Now I can get a good look at the circuit here. And we can see, what do we have? Got an RCA something, something, something. Might be a compander. I don't know. LM32-4N. I don't know. I think one of these would have to be a bucket brigade, so maybe it is that, or it's probably this. It's probably that. But I don't know for sure. I'm not that cool with this stuff. Maybe if I turn it the right way up. And these are RCAs. It's funny, like they used to say like EH. Electro-Harmonix tried to bring it. There's a ghetto piece of electrical tape here that's supposed to be isolating the circuit from this pot. I guess it's doing an okay job. AF. Not familiar with that. brand of capacitor. I don't think that's an Aerovox. I don't know what it could be. It's got a JPN at the end, so maybe it's a Japanese. I don't know. But it is a 500 microfarad 16 volt capacitor. And I'm going to take a caliper measurement because I just kind of like to do that. That way I can go back and watch the video rather than taking this thing apart if I decide to order a cap. Chances are I will, just to have. 31.5 millimeters by 13.17 millimeters. Oh, I think I was going to do something else. Oh, yes. Let's just have a quick little measurement on that capacitor. It's almost pointless to do this, to measure these caps with the meter, because there's like nearly guaranteed to be some circuitry in parallel with it that's going to mess up the reading if I don't take it out. Yeah, it says 281 microfarads. Oh, takes a while to settle into. So it's charging up the capacitor with the voltage from my meter. Yeah, it's moving around. Can't get a reading on it, which is inconclusive. Doesn't say anything about it. Even if I did get a reading, it wouldn't say anything about it. Like I said, it's almost pointless to measure them that way. I could lift a leg and test it at 15 volts or so. But I don't care enough to do that right now. Stack pole switch, just noticed that. Pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna give these pots a blast while I'm in here. At least the middle one. I think I can get the other two better, more safely when it's reassembled. But the middle one is gonna be tricky to do that with, so I'm gonna do it right here. Okay, now I'll twist it around a bit more when I get it put back together. Yeah, did we lose one, or was that just grounded through the chassis? Don't know, we'll find out. Told you I would break something. Electro-Harmonix is kind of junk. I don't like the way that piece of tape is like just, can you see this? It is almost not at all, just barely protecting it from this. So I wasn't gonna mess with it, but I'm gonna put another piece of tape under there. Hate to lose a valuable old pedal over something so stupid as me not wanting to do that for no good reason. So, what's your favorite song with a phaser in it? If you could name any song with a bad stone, that would be super cool. I can't think of any. My favorite song with a phaser in it, that's hard. Who's That Lady by the Isley Brothers is pretty great, but I don't know. I feel like the internet says that's a maestro and a big muff. I think there's more modulation going on than just that, personally. Kind of sounds to me almost as if there is like some actual mechanical tape flanging. The Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin is another favorite phaser song of mine. That's a great one. That's a phase 90. There we go. I guess I could have checked out that pot date while I had to back off. Let's see. 79. And the blue one, I'm not going to pull it off because it's over here. We'll just go with one of them being 79 and be happy to know that. Okay. Let's see if I can put this back. What is going on here? Probably a loose... Oh, we got a broken doodad here. Wire came off. Can you see that? No, you can't. Yeah, this wire broke off. Where did it break off from? Right there. Okay. Yeah, I think this jack probably came loose and then somebody tightened it and twisted all this stuff around. Oh, there's two of them. Oh, shoot. Well, they're both black. I don't know which one came off of where. Does it matter? Oh, yeah, it does. This one's loose, too. Great. Okay. One of these is the tip, and one of these is the ground. Interesting. I can always go back and review the video if it's clear. I mean, it might not be clear because they were all twisted up. I could always look at a schematic. I could try to burnish this while I've got it out. I could give up because I'm probably never going to use that jack. It doesn't fit. I could use a little piece of abrasive paper. I guess I might be looking at a schematic. I'm going to look at the board and see if it's really obvious which one goes to hot and which one is ground. Okay. That should do. Let me give this part a little brushing. Okay. Told you I was going to break it. They're just kind of junk to begin with. And this one had some twisted stuff happening. Are we missing a washer? Oh, those just didn't have washers, I guess. Oh, I guess we'll clean the case before we put this back. It is pretty grimy. I worry about the printing coming off this more than on other pedals. Because it wasn't very... Wow, that cleaned up really well. It wasn't very good to begin with. Oh, that came out real nice. Okay, and a little bit right here, and a little bit right. I'll get more of that later. Let's put this back together first. things are built so awful. You couldn't build a pedal like this today and get away with it. You would have the entire internet biting your ear off before you even got one out the door. That poor soldering and flimsy design and all that. But in the 1970s, who's going to tell you? The internet? The other pedal builders? There weren't any. Okay. Now, boy, do we have a mess here. Not really. Put the switch back in. Oh, that's not threading. There we go. Remember, if you want to hear it, you got to break it first. That's the rule. Oh, wait. I don't think that's really the rule. You got to open it first. But if it's an EHX pedal and you got to open it first, the rule kind of is you got to break it first because there's a really good chance that's going to happen. I don't think I've ever had an old EHX pedal that didn't break at some point. It's always that same thing too. Wire on a jack, wire on a switch. Plastic pliers. Not what they're made for, but man, they do great at that. Okay, this guy goes over here. This guy goes over here. Is this really just grounded through the chassis? Let's clean it up then. It's just grounded through contact with a piece of aluminum. Okay. This is the output, right? Yeah. Cliff, I'm not blaming you. You did a fine job. Just the design. Okay. Right now is the time on sprockets when we dance. We got to figure out which of these two wires is hot and which is ground. Is that right? I just want to confirm. Yeah, one for sure is ground and the other for sure is the tip. Okay, wait, here's a clue. Negative on the battery is going to the ring, which means when you put in a guitar cable that the negative is going to connect to the ground as well. So, yeah, it doesn't actually answer anything for me here. All right. Just looking at the board to see if one of these traces goes somewhere meaningful. I couldn't tell you where it's going. There's a 50-50 chance. I'm going to do this. Just have a quick look on Reverb. See if I can find one that's opened up. This is not going to be as easy to find as that DOD 250 last time. Okay, Badstone, phase shifter. Reminders for me to take out the trash. Yes, I know. Still have to do that. Okay. There's a version 1. It's probably the same. Maybe I'll try web search. Okay, here's one. Let's see. Huh. So on this one, the 3 wires going to that jack are red, white, and black. That would make more sense. Oh, this is going to be perfect, though. Assuming this is correct. Whoa, there's a lot more wires going to that jack than 3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's a different version. There's some additional mods there, but this should still give me like roughly the idea, right? Oh man, such a blurry photo. I wish you guys could see it. I'm gonna look for another one. That one's, I might be able to work off that if I have to, but it is just like kind of ambiguous. Have another. No other photos. Seriously. Try some different search terms. All right, work with me, work with me. Okay, I'm gonna go find a photo on a real computer where I can sit down. Be right back. Okay. Got some schematics. I've got a photo here. All right, so it looks like on here, the 2 wires that broke on mine are this one, and this one. And it looks like this one that's connected towards the top comes around and goes up and lands there, and that would be the ground. So this one should be the tip, and it comes up around here, and we don't know where that's going. It's twisted around. But if that one's the ground, and it really looks like it is, then if that's the ground, this one should be the tip. Let's look at these schematics and see. I don't know if these... Now, just to be fair, like when I put in a plug, these two are going to short together, so it doesn't really matter electrically. But this is an original unit, and I want to put it back the way it was made. It's also entirely possible that they just made them any which way. I know that. Okay, so we're on the input side. It doesn't even show that there's a ring on this. This one has a ring. Okay. I don't see any revisions or whatever. Maybe this is a version 1. Okay. Input side. Ring goes right to the battery, negative. That's what's left here. On there's the ring. Yeah, we got that. Tip goes... It says A. I don't see. Usually when you have an A, there's like another A over here somewhere. Maybe those are test points. Okay, so it goes into a 0.1 microfarad capacitor. Well, it's a tip. So I'm thinking that'd be the middle connection here. Is there a 0.1 microfarad capacitor there? Certainly could be. Some kind of capacitor there. 104. That looks promising. Okay. And the ground just goes to ground. Well, okay. Let's do a continuity check and see where ground is. That is another thing we can check. Okay. That's all that does. And we want to say, for sure, this is ground. None of these are. Really? Okay. Let's backpedal here. For sure, this is ground. Interesting. So it tells me none of those are ground. Now this is the ring, right? Yeah. How is that? None of those pot lugs are ground, huh? Okay, well, I have 2 confirming answers. I didn't get 3. 2 is good enough, especially when I know these are just shorting internally. I'm going to fix this one too, but I'm going to do it last. Just going to put that on loosely for now. Okay. Gonna try to just reuse the original solder so as to not pollute the soldery ecosystem or whatever. Okay. And then this guy. And then this guy over here. We're going to redo that because that's... Watch, I bet if I wiggle this, hopefully you're focused. It's like, this will break in a couple wiggles. Yep. See? And that's going to the battery. So, I mean, that was going to break. That was going to be wiggled, if not tugged. You know. It's got to be able to handle a little wiggle and tug. It is a pedal. Rotate this guy a little here. So you can see that better. Okay. If it were mine, I'd put a little heat shrink over that. I mean, it is mine, but if it was my design, I would do that. I'm not going to mess with Cliff's work. Come on. Let's keep it original. Do we want to mess with this? Guess not. Okay. I think it's turn the amp on time. All right, 78 Princeton reverb. Bring it up the shop voltage. 44 volts, 58 volts, 75 volts, 90 volts, 95, 99, 103, 108, 111, 113, 116.2. That's the magic voltage for the evening. And I hear the amplifier amplifying. This is the amp output. This is the guitar input. Knobs are just kind of roughly in the middle position there. Nothing in particular. And try the battery. Well, first of all, let's see. Are we getting any? Nothing there. And we're bypassed. Nothing there. Okay, interesting. I feel like when it's bypassed, I should have something. All right, let's try with the battery and see what happens. That's interesting. It's full of solder. Oh, good news, everybody. Good news. And let's just make sure we get a bypass signal. We do. Okay. So, pull that out. Pull that out. Stay there a second. Okay, we're just going to button this guy back up. While I was looking for those schematics, I read a little nifty thing that stated the Badstone was the first phaser to use regenerative feedback, which means some of the outputs getting fed back into the input, and that it's a 6-stage phaser. I think the small stone is a 5-stage. I don't know. I don't think you can really judge the sound of a pedal based on that anyway, though, because regardless of how many stages there are, you can set it up to do different things, be more or less intense. I'm going to wipe this down one more time. There's just still some streaky gunkiness around the knobs. I think I'll try and clean that off before I put the knobs back. And I never got that panel. Sides, probably okay. Underside, pretty clean. And a dude I worked with at music stores, several of them, 3 in fact, passed away. I only found out this afternoon. His name was Scott Lowe. He went by Scoot. R.I.P. Scoot. He played in Artemis Pyle. He's a mean bass player and could play a beautiful piano as well. So I doubt anyone watching knows him, but you might. Guy got around. He's kind of a wild man, and by kind of I mean extremely. But yeah, R.I.P. Scoot. My condolences to the family.